Hi again, guys. Apologies, the stream was ended a bit quicker than we expected that to be ended there, but I am back. I'll probably stay on until about 6:15. Just have a look back at the games from yesterday. We've covered the League Cup final, so I just want to talk about the games yesterday. And before we were rather rudely abrupted, the Celtic Hearts game yesterday, I was so pleased with Hearts yesterday. Stephen Naismith got everything absolutely bang on yesterday, got his tactics spot on. I thought defensively were brilliant. Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls, Alex Cochrane, Atkinson, Kingsley, everyone absolutely perfect yesterday. And as well, you look at the two goals that we get. Now, the first goal is a corner kick from George Grant. It's a great ball in. I can't believe that Celtic left a guy like Lawrence Shankland unmarked in the box on his own to head in past Joe Hart. Hi, Aslino. The stream ended rather quickly than I anticipated there. But yeah, and hi, Gregor. We are back, yes. Till about 6:15. But yeah, and then the second goal is a great free kick again from Stephen Kingsley. I've missed seeing a Stephen Kingsley free kick hitting the net. It was a really good free kick as well. And the word I would use yesterday, and it's something that don't think I've ever said about a game against Celtic, was comfortable. We were so comfortable. As you know, I haven't seen the Hearts highlights yet. We were very comfortable. We're 2-0 up in the first half, and I'll be honest, at half time, I'm sitting there watching the game thinking, right, second half's coming, it's going to be like the Alamo. They'll be bombarding us in the second half. They never really did, though. I thought actually the biggest threat was James Forrest when he came on in the second half, but that was about it. They offered very little. Xander Clark had very little to do, which is very, very... It's not what I'd expect at Celtic Park from a goalkeeper to not be that busy, but they didn't really do that much, to be honest. We were just very comfortable, and we saw it out quite comfortably. I kept watching the clock in the top corner going down very slowly, waiting for it to hit 90 minutes. Because even then at 90 minutes, I'm still thinking they're going to get 2 goals back here at Celtic. They're going to get Motherwell, they scored late. But they never really looked like they were going to do it. There was just apathy in that Celtic crowd. I think half the fans had left by the last 20 minutes. It was just very, very flat Celtic yesterday. And I thought it really helped Hearts. It benefited us. But we were superb yesterday. I can't speak highly enough for Hearts yesterday. We were absolutely brilliant. And we deserved to win. We deserved to win the game. It wasn't lucky. It wasn't a smash and grab. Even I've had Celtic fans message me privately to say you deserve that win. So it just shows how well we played yesterday. We deserved to win the game. As you know, for me this season, the Glasgow Sisters are more vulnerable than ever, but other teams aren't taking advantage, although Hearts have hopefully started a trend. Well, if you look at it, Celtic have now dropped points against Hearts at home. They've lost 3 points. They've also drawn against St Johnstone, and they've also drawn against Motherwell as well. So they are there for the taking. This is not a great Celtic side just now. They're still a good side, but they're not a brilliant side just now, is what I would say. And I just think they just don't look that great just now. They are vulnerable. And if you can get at them, you can cause them problems. If you set up the way the Hearts did yesterday, with that kind of 3-5-2, make it difficult for them to break down, they can't really do it. I thought Palmer was disappointing yesterday. Kyogo, who's got a very good rest against Hearts yesterday, offered very little. There was one chance in the second half that he couldn't get on the end off. But there was just nothing really from Celtic yesterday. But Hearts got everything bang on. Defensively, it was a perfect performance. And for me as a Hearts fan, didn't know if you know that, but I am. The biggest thing for me as well was we actually managed to bring on Macaulay Tate, who's an 18-year-old from the B team. We made him have his debut yesterday. And, he came on with about 10 minutes to go. He's probably dreamt of this moment for a long, long time. And he comes on and he does really well. So it was great. And Aidan Denham also starting as well, which was great to see. So it was very encouraging. But what we've got to do now is build on that. Our next game is next Saturday against St Mirren. I don't know how that's going to go, to be honest, because at Tynecastle our record is not that great, which is a surprise, because I expect our home record to be better than away record, but we're not that great at home, so hopefully we can, we've got to take positives from yesterday. If you can't get confidence from that game yesterday, you never will. So Graham, the Hearts fans are now happy with Naismith. I wouldn't say we're happy with him, but, I've always said that if he does well, then he'll get credit. And he deserves credit for yesterday because he got everything spot on. And I'll always be honest, I still think there's moments that I'm not quite convinced by him. But I've always said about Stephen Naismith, he's not had a statement win yet. He has now. That was a massive statement, but he's got to build on that now. We've got St Mirren next week. Then we've got Hibs in the game at Easter Road. Then I think we've got Ross County, and then we've got Livingston before the winter break. These are games that we should be winning. And listen, St Mirren have had a great season, don't get me wrong, they're sitting fourth in the league. But at home, we've got to be looking to win that game. And we've got to get confidence from that now. I wouldn't be changing the team next week. But listen, this is what fans are like, myself included. We're all fickle. If Hearts get beaten next week, it'll be Naismith out again. That's just the way it is. Hearts 0, St Mirren 0, I reckon. I hope not. I really hope not. We've got a lot of players to come back as well. We didn't have Cammy Devlin. We didn't have Liam Boss. We didn't have Alec Lowry. We didn't have Callum Neuenhoff. We've got a very strong bench now. So we've got players to come back. So I would think that we'd have enough to beat St Mirren next week. But St Mirren have beaten Hearts already this season in Paisley. So it's a difficult game to call. But we've got to get confidence from that yesterday, because that was a massive, massive win. And hopefully that kicks us on for the rest of the season. But we've got to take that advantage at home next week. But the other games yesterday, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0. Again, it maybe wasn't the best of games. I think St Mirren obviously had the better chance with O'Hara missing that penalty. And it was a definite penalty. O'Donnell's handball, it was a penalty. And O'Hara's usually look good from the spot as well. But it's a decent save from Kelly. It's not a brilliant save, but it's a decent save. He stands up and he saves it. But I think St Mirren were disappointed they've not won that game yesterday. I think Motherwell again. It's now 14 games without a win. They've had 6 draws and 8 losses. But there's been positives in quite a few of those games. But they just don't take their chance when they come along. But yesterday I thought they'll probably be happy with a point away from home, and obviously they've managed to keep a clean sheet as well. Hearts St Mirren's a battle for third. I think hopefully it is, because I still think Hibs they're okay. Aberdeen, of course, have got a long way to go yet. They've got games in hand. They play Livingston on Wednesday, which I expect them to win, because Livingston are dreadful. One of the worst teams I think I've seen this season. So yeah, I think it probably could be between Hearts and St Mirren, but there's a long way to go yet. And I think what happens in January to certain teams as well, players they might get in, players they might lose, could be really interesting. But it could be a potential battle for third. You look at that at the league table just now. Hearts are third on 26 points. St Mirren, obviously, fourth on 26 points. Killie, fifth on 24 points. Hibs, sixth on 24 points. Dundee can't even write them out for top 6 or even challenging for that top 4 position, top 3 position. They're on 21 points. It's a really good battle. It's a really close league. Yesterday I watched that frustrating game yesterday. Robinson was keeping positive, but I feel he knows it was 2 points dropped and not the one he claimed in the interview. I sometimes think that what managers say in after-match interviews are very different to what they say in the dressing room. He'll be gutted they've not won that game yesterday with that chance they had from the penalty spot. And I know that he's not been critical of Mark O'Hara, and of course he won't be. It's a penalty. These things happen. Penalties get missed. But it was a big opportunity for St Mirren yesterday to win that game, and they've not been able to do it. But there's plenty of positives St Mirren to take. St Mirren have had a great season. And if I was going to say right now who I think's probably been the team of the season just now, I would probably say St Mirren, because they've had a brilliant season. The start of the season, I wasn't sure. They didn't have a great League Cup campaign, but they've been a very good side this season. They've taken a lot of big points, and I just think that... chance for Liverpool there. But I just think that St Mirren could easily... I think St Mirren are going to have a very good season. I really do. I still think they have a great season, but they just need to take their chances when they come along, and that was a big moment yesterday. So I'm just watching the Liverpool game here. O'Hara usually nets penalties, yeah. And I know that Michael's a big fan of Mark O'Hara as well, so he'll be disappointed that he's not taking that penalty yesterday, but it's one of these things, and it probably was going to take one of these moments for somebody to score yesterday. I thought Motherwell huffed and puffed, but just didn't have that real quality. I'm a big fan of Mika Bireth. I know that our colleague Stephen is as well, but it just didn't have that quality in the last third. As I said, if we finish 4th or 5th, I'll be delighted. I think St Mirren are definitely going to finish top 6. I genuinely do, because I think you look at the rest of the league, it's a bit of a muchness, to be honest. There's not really much between the teams, but I think St Mirren have just got something about them this season. And as I said on Friday to Reagan, they've got Ayunga back as well after a 10-month layoff. He's a big player for them. If he can get back among the goals, and he scored the week before that as well, if he can get back among the goals, they've got a threat there. They really do have a threat there. So I think St Mirren are going to be fine. I really do. I think they're going to be fine. Motherwell, on their hands, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I really don't. They're sitting second bottom. They are still quite clear of Livingston, but they can't win a game. And the worrying thing if I'm a Motherwell fan as well, their next game is Christmas Eve when they play Rangers. So that is probably potentially 15 games without a win. And, I'm not saying that Kettle was under pressure because I think some Motherwell fans are still behind them, but they've got to win somewhere. They have to get some win somewhere because it's just not quite happening for them. Like I say, in some of the games they've actually played quite well. You look at the Celtic game at Fir Park, they were 1-0 down. They get back to 1-1 with Blair Spittle in the very last minute and then lose a goal a minute later. That is such a despondency from Motherwell. But they've been in a lot of games. It's not like they've been hammered in most games. I think probably the only one was Aberdeen when they got beat quite comfortably at Fir Park. But they're in most games. But they just aren't getting a little bit of luck or that little bit of clinical edge that they need. And it will come. That has to come. I don't think Motherwell are going to go down at all. Livingston will because they are in serious, serious trouble. But I just think Motherwell need a win from somewhere just to give them a bit of confidence. And again, January could be a big month for them. The potential is there to maybe bring back Kevin Van Veen. Where that happens, I don't know. But if they can get him back, that'll be a huge, huge bonus for them. They get him back, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll maybe finish about maybe 8th or 9th. But they have to get a striker in him because they're just not scoring enough goals. Let's go to Diamond Park where St Johnstone beat Hibernian. Sorry, I shouldn't be happy with that. But Craig Levein with a 1-0 win. Graham Carey's goal after 57 minutes. And again, it was deserved. I thought Hibs were very, very poor, very lethargic. I thought St Johnstone had plenty of chances. David Marshall was probably Hibs' best player. And the goal comes. Now, again, I like when teams have a philosophy and you stick to it. But I don't know why they've got... what's his name? I can't mind his name. Dylan Levitt. I don't know why Dylan Levitt is in his own half, his own penalty box, taking the ball for the goalkeeper, and he gives it away. It's a really poor ball. Graham Carey intercepts it, and that's a great finish. And we know what Graham Carey is capable of on that left foot. But it was a deserved win for St Johnstone. It wasn't like it was lucky. And that's now 14 points from the last 8 games that Craig Levein's been in charge for that St Johnstone have got. And they are now up to 8th. And I said at the time, I said it before, it's a really good appointment from St Johnstone. It makes perfect sense. Bring a manager that's got experience in, bring a manager and get the best out of those players, and he's done that. And you can sense that St Johnstone are turning the tide now. They could potentially still finish top 6. I don't know if they will, but they could potentially finish top 6, which would be incredible for St Johnstone, given how bad they've been throughout the season. But it just goes to show, if you're Stephen McLean, you must be thinking, well, why couldn't they play like that for me? Clearly just a lack of experience. Maybe just didn't get his message across, I don't know, but Levein's doing a fantastic job, and, beating Hibs, he'll be thinking natural order, which it is now. But what a win for St Johnstone. They deserved that. They were the far better team, and like I said, but for David Marshall, that's 3 or 4. I thought St Johnstone were excellent yesterday. Hibs just didn't really have that spark yesterday. I thought the only one was maybe Jai Tavares. It was about the only one. But again, Hibs are not in a bad position. They're sitting 6th, 24 points. Next week, they go to Ross County, which will be a different game, especially given the comments by Derek Adams yesterday. You've got to imagine that Ross County are going to be fired up for that game next week. Their players are going to be buzzing for this game now. So that might make it a little bit harder for Hibs. But it's a tough one. But Hibs yesterday just didn't really have that spark yesterday. Levein is like an old school headmaster compared to many young managers. And that's pretty much it. He's obviously getting his message across. St Johnstone got good players in that team. They've got like Ryan McGowan, they've got Chris Kane, they've got Stevie May, they've got Nicky Clark, who's still not fit yet. They do have good players on that team. It's just trying to get them to play the way that you want to play. And they're getting that now. And I've always said Levein made perfect sense for me. Some folk laughed when he got the job. I just thought it makes sense. I just thought it made perfect sense. And he's getting them a flying up that league now. And what a result performance from them yesterday, because like I said, they thoroughly deserved it. There was very little, like I say, that Hibs deserved anything out of that game yesterday. They didn't. So a massive win for St Johnstone yesterday, and thoroughly deserved. Let's go to Ross County. Gregor McIntosh, what a win for us yesterday. It was a brilliant win for Dundee. And like I've said, I've been really impressed with Dundee this season. I think they thoroughly deserved to win that game yesterday. They were the better team. I don't know what Ross Adams? I don't know what Derek Adams was talking about, that he, that Tony Dockett was saying that Ross County the better side. I don't think they were. I think Dundee had the better chances, and you've got to look at the stats to see that. And again, I thought Luke McKinnon was brilliant. Obviously, it's his free kick that ends up being deflected in eventually off Connor Shaughnessy, but it's a big 3 points. Again, I don't know how many times I mentioned this boy, but again, Owen Beck yesterday was sensational. That boy is going to be he's going to be an absolutely brilliant player wherever he goes. He won't be at Ross County for long. I know he's only on loan anyway, but what a player he is, by the way. His run, I think it was the second half, where he beat about 3 players. He's just a phenomenal player. He really is, and he's still young as well, so he's only going to get better. But yeah, I thought Dundee thoroughly deserved to win. And like I mentioned earlier on, the comments that were made by Derek Adams, I just thought were very, very poor. And it just, for me, smacks of bitterness. It just smacks of a manager that's lost a game in the last minute. He's coming out with that kind of thing. Like I said at the start of the show, it might have had more substance had they won the game, and he comes out and says that. But when you've got beat in the last minute, it just sounds like bitterness and sour grapes to me. I think he's wrong. And I hope Roy McGregor is pulling him up for that. I genuinely do hope he is saying, well, what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? It seems to me that Adam spent too long in England and it addled his brain. Morecambe laughing. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no way that Morecambe would actually thrive in the Scottish Premier League. Absolutely no chance. I don't care what Derek Adams says. And I mean, if I'm a Ross County player and I'm hearing my manager saying that, I'd be raging with that. I genuinely would be absolutely raging with that. I'm thinking, why am I going to play for you? Coming out with comments like that, do you think Morecambe are better than us? I'd be furious with that. And I'd like to think, as Dave mentioned earlier, that Roy McGregor would be pulling him into his boardroom and saying, right, what was that about? What are you talking about? I just think it was very misguided. And I would hope that 24 hours later, Derek Adams reflects on that and goes, you know what? I'm sorry. I was heat in the moment. I said something I shouldn't have done. I take it back. I don't think he will, but that's what he should do, because we can all say things heat in the moment. But I just thought that was very uncalled for. As I said at the start of the show, he basically called his own team, I'm not going to say the word, but poor. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And I'd be furious if I was a county player hearing that. If they haven't heard it, I'm sure they have. I'm pretty sure that their mates would have been messaging them to say, have you heard what your manager said about you, by the way? He thinks you're terrible. He thinks League Two teams are better than you. I would be furious. I'd be knocking on his door and saying, what is that about? Are you saying that Morecambe are better than me? I'd be furious with it. I'd be raging with that. But take nothing away for Dundee. They've had a brilliant season. Sitting 21 points. Again, potentially could be in the top 6. So I think they could be. I don't think it's out of order to say that it could be. I think they could be. But I thought Dundee deserved to win yesterday. I thought they showed a lot more attacking threat. And like I mentioned there, the two names I mentioned there, Luke McKinnon and Owen Beck, I generally thought they were outstanding yesterday. And I think Dundee deserved to win the game. Certainly based on second half performance, I thought they deserved to win the game. And it was no surprise that they won it. Obviously, the goal's a bit fortuitous with Connor Shaughnessy. He doesn't know much about it, but it's a great victory. It really is. And it was deserved. And well done, Dundee. Well done, Tony Docherty. I said earlier on that I think the team of the season has been St Mirren. Dundee are close behind that. Although, to be fair, Kilmarnock have done well as well. They've beaten Celtic twice and Rangers once. Kilmarnock have done well as well, but I just like when new teams come up and they don't particularly sit back. They actually try and have a go in games. And Dundee have done that. You know, I think Dundee have been very, very good and a breath of the fresh air at Scottish football. I think, again, probably, Gregor, you might agree with this as well. When Dundee came up, I think probably the main thing was staying in the league. I think they're going to do that quite comfortably, to be honest. There's no real pressure there, I don't think. But they've been really good. I think they've been a breath of the fresh air, Dundee. And if they can keep this going, you know, they could get top 6. I genuinely think they could, and fair play if they do. And fair play to your team, Gregor, if they do, because it would be fantastic if they managed to do it. Let's look at the other game yesterday. I don't know what I can say about this. Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 0, the Plastic Derby. Dreadful game. The only real moment was the Bruce Anderson penalty in 83 minutes that he missed. And see, when your luck's not going for you, You get a free chance to finally score a goal, and Anderson hits the post. And David Martindale mentioned it after the game. You know, those moments just don't go for you when you're not having that luck. And it's just another game that they can't win. It's now 8 without a win. It is now 7 without a goal for Livingston. And again, I'm looking at their next 2 fixtures. On Wednesday, they go to Pittodrie and Aberdeen side, who, listen, might be leggy after today, I don't know. But you've got to expect Aberdeen to win that game. And then after that, Livingston then go to Celtic Park. A Celtic team who are nursing their wounds after the last couple of games in the league. I think Livingston are going to be in serious trouble here. I really do. I think they could get hammered in these next two games. And I just think, and I said it on Friday, and kind of Reagan mentioned it as well, that David Martindale for me just doesn't seem his normal self. He seems defeated. And I get it. I completely get it. He doesn't really know. He kind of get a tune at this team, and it just looks like they're going to go down. It really does. We're only in December, but they look a very, very poor side just now. They can't score goals. Bruce Anderson has a chance to win it yesterday and doesn't do it. El Plastico, thankfully not for long, because those plastic pitches are going to be a thing of the past, hopefully, for a long, long time. I don't mind them in the League One or League Two, but not in the Premiership. But yeah, Livingston just had nothing yesterday. I thought Kilmarnock, although didn't have a lot of chances, were probably the better side and deserved to win the game. And again, if you're probably looking at the team that'll be happy to get a point out of that game, it's probably Kilmarnock, because they were 7 minutes away from getting beat if the penalty had gone in. So they probably will be happy with a point there. But yeah, it wasn't a great game. I've very rarely seen a decent game on a plastic pitch, I'm going to be honest. But I just thought that yesterday was one of these games that it had 0-0 written all over it. But if Bruce Anderson scores a penalty, different game. But he couldn't score it. But yeah, looking at the league table, going into so Wednesday night, we've got two games on. It's the games in hand for Aberdeen and Rangers. Aberdeen play Livingston at home. Rangers play St Johnstone at Ibrox, which won't be an easy game now, given the way St Johnstone have played. But the league table at the moment, Celtic top on 42 points. Rangers second on 37 points, but they can close that gap. Hearts third on 26 points. St Mirren fourth on 26 points. Kilmarnock in fifth on 24 points. Hibs in sixth on 24 points. Dundee in seventh on 21 points. St Johnstone in eighth on 18 points. Ross County in ninth on 17 points. Aberdeen 16 on 16 points. Motherwell also on 16 points on 11th. And propping up the table is Livingston on 11 points. And I'm going to be honest, if you're a Livingston fan, turn away now. I think that's where you're going to end, because I just don't see any way that Livingston get out of this. They don't score goals. They look okay at times at the back, but they just don't create enough chances. And that's why I think they're going to go down. Before I finish, just quickly touch on the big game that was in the Championship yesterday, which finished Dundee United 0, Raith Rovers 1. I said on Friday that probably the best player in the Championship just now was Dylan Easton at Raith Rovers, and it was no surprise that he got the winning goal. A brilliant bit of quality. They're now 5 points clear at the top of the league. I think United have got games in hand, though. But what a win for Raith Rovers. And I genuinely think they have been the best team in the Championship. And I think I said this on Friday, I think they'll come up. I really do. I think they've been outstanding, Raith Rovers. And what a moment it would be for Ian Murray if they come up. And I think, again, if they did come up, they'll be like Dundee. They'll be very good at Starks Park. They'll be hard to break down. And they'll just, with Dylan Easton, I don't know if he'll be at Raith that long. I think he'll play for a bigger team than Raith Rovers. No disrespect to Raith Rovers, but I think they will play at a bigger team. United just now, again, I'm just not sure about them. Moments and times they look really good, and they do have guys like Louis Moult and Tony Watt on their team, but I just think Raith Rovers look a really good side just now, and they don't know when they're beat. And I thought they deserved to win that game yesterday. Again, maybe it wasn't a great game, but I thought they just about deserved to win the game. So a massive, massive win that. There was a big game in League One as well, which finished Hamilton 1, Falkirk 3. I think that's Hamilton. Falkirk now 3 points clear of Hamilton. But again, both those teams look really, really good. And I think it is going to be one of these moments where I think, looking at it right now, I think probably Falkirk will be the team that come up. But, I mean, honestly, it is such a competitive league, that top of the group. A bigger team than the Kirkcaldy Massive. I think Raith have been brilliant. I really do. I think they've been absolutely outstanding. If they come up, I think they'll hold their own. I really do think they'll hold their own. I don't think they'll go straight back down. Maybe I'll be wrong. But again, it'll be all about what they do in the summer. If they can spend money, I think they could stay up. I really do. But yeah, I just think that I've always said the Championship is a really competitive league. It's a brilliant league. And I just think that Raith, for me, look like the best team in that league. I really think they're the best team in that league, and I think Raith Rovers, if they come up, will be an absolute massive credit to their division. But anyway, I think I've waffled on enough. It is now 6:15. I'm going to go and get myself something to eat because I'm starving. I hope you all have thank you all for joining me as well, by the way. Mind they played Bayern? Yes, I do. They won the game 1-0 over in Germany. I think it was Jeremy Goss that scored. No, it was Danny Lennon, I think, that scored the goal. I think. That was a big moment. That was a great moment for Scottish teams in Europe. It was a great moment. But anyway, thank you all for joining me, guys, as well. It's much appreciated. I think we're going to be doing a show next Friday in the build-up to Christmas because there are games next week. We'll also, if we're on, look back at the games on the Wednesday that we played as well. Thank you all for joining me, guys. It's always much appreciated. As I've always said, you're the guys that, you're the guys that make these things happen. As I said before, we do this for nothing because we love talking about sport, but it doesn't happen if you guys don't, if you guys don't contribute. You're brilliant. You guys are massive to our show. So thank you all for watching, guys. It's much appreciated. Graham, you're a stalwart. Thanks for all you do. Oh, thanks, mate. Can you tell my wife that? She wouldn't agree with that. But yeah, guys, honestly, thank you all for joining me again. Have a great week, whatever you're doing. If you're at work or whatever you're doing or at college, have a great week, and we'll catch you all again next week. See you later.